All right, here we are. We are going to try this thing again. Do some drawing. Got no music playing, so there's no copyright, whatever. Just gonna start drawing. Painter. Yeah, usually when I draw, I really have no I have no plan. I have no set things. I don't know what I'm going to draw. I'm just drawing forms. And that's usually not. You don't want to do that, necessarily. Well, I might have, okay, I'll go make a fighter. So, start with shield and put on a sword. Here you go. And get my eraser. Bring it bigger. Yeah, just fighter with a cloak, cape. I don't know. Armor. I don't know. Windswept hair. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't have a video game playing to put a little sign on the Poldron. I think it's called a Poldron. Poldron. It's like I've drawn 10,000 of them, but I don't necessarily know what they're specifically called or supposed to be called. Whatever they're called. Which is why I suppose research is important. Reading is important. Know what you want. Texture. My biggest feeling is I always get a little bored with a drawing before I finish it. Yeah, it's just it's like usually it's about an hour before I okay, I've had enough of this. I don't feel like drawing it anymore. So then I stop. Oh yeah. Straps and buckles and belts and all that's fun. You know, with anything you want repetition. You know, I want this area down by the leg to mimic this area up by the shoulder, so I make that same shape and repetition. A little bit bigger though, because it's I'm gonna repeat, you know, this area on the here onto similar areas on this area and the knee and this knee. And then the pattern again. Straps and textures and just like adding some like deep blacks for shadows. There we go. That works more or less. Let's go back to our smaller pen. Basically, I have a painter. You have all kinds of brushes. These are all different individual categories, and inside each category, there's all kinds of like secondary ones. So it's like, you know, here's pencils. Here are all the different kinds of pencils you can have in Painter. And rather than like having to go up and select all these, Painter has what you can make custom palettes. You know, just generate, you know, custom palette, and then you put in your favorite. So I use a pen, HP real pencil, scratchboard tool, you know, blenders and effects. I mean, these are all different, you know, different tools. These are my favorite dozen or so, including custom erasers that I've built from the scratchboard tool. I there's a pen editor in Painter where you can like edit the pens to make them even more customizable and individual. And I was watching a tutorial video I bought from yeah, what's the page? I just don't remember. It's Concept Art. They have those tutorials you can buy. Concept Art. There's one on Painter. Actually, it's a number of years old, and it's for a few older versions. But still, it's still credible. Still, you know, viable. I would recommend. I bought several of those videos from there. But yeah, I followed that tutorial, whatever, and but you know, I did a lot of playing around. You want to get these programs, you just want to play around, and so it's with any software. And again, software won't replace skills. I mean, you gotta have your basic drawing and art skills. You know, it won't replace anything. So yeah, I use pens and what have you. It's nice, quick sketch. Let's clean it up. Just playing around. Really, when you want to get into certain areas, you want to zoom in. I always go the wrong way. I'm using a Cintiq, and I have some of the hotbars connected, or there's like a control strip on the back side, and I have it set to zoom. That's the default zoom. Only I can never remember which way I'm supposed to swipe it for which way I'm supposed to go in or out. Yeah, just going and then drawing. Just cleaning, drawing clean. I don't want to make it too clean though. I find I lose a little something if I clean up too much. The gesture of the what have you. Or if I just like a general shape like this, and then I'll leave little bits and pieces around, and then just redraw over it. There's something odd going on here. Let's see if we can redo. Let's see if I can redefine. Let's take a look at, okay, how's that look overall? Yeah, alright, I guess that's fine. It's coming together, I guess. That doesn't quite look right. Let's see here. Yeah, I keep going the wrong way. Wrong way. All right. That's not right. That's erg. Draw, redraw, draw, redraw, draw, redraw until you find something that finally works. Or good enough. There we go. That might work. I like line. I'm a line guy. I mean, I think I've read somewhere that artists tend to either be shape guys or line guys. Or shape guys become painters. Line guys become, I don't know, not painters. Illustrators? Yeah, no, that's the term. A little. Clean this up a little bit. Let's see here. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. What I want to do here is try to make this some plate here, some armor plate, like areas down here, but you don't want to make tangents. You don't want. Let's see how I want to do this. Clean it up a bit. Let's see here. Let's add. Let's add another layer in here. It's overlapping. Let's get rid of this. And then eventually just down here. So it's like a plate here, there's a plate here, there's a plate. Like if I add another layer. So then I'll change it to red so you can see it better. But so ideally there's a plate that goes here, a plate that goes here, and there's a plate that goes here. And luckily on that side, that side, that side. So just that's what's underneath the sword arm, so to speak. And then this will just be chain. Layer of chain, plates on top of chain. Which I believe historically is, that's how it was. Layers. Just and there's chain under here, and there's maybe a little pattern or something here, I don't know. Something, yeah. And then sword. Kind of works, sort of works, mostly works. That's bad. Okay. The shield. Pivots, or rivets, or bolts, or whatever. Keeping the shield wood. There we go. Just making the legs a little bit thicker. let's go back to our big. Normally this scratch board tool I keep for color, but if I want large areas of black, I'll put it in. Nice big. It's like a big brush of black. Back to our smaller tool, which is what's that, round pen 3. Just going around and let's change that up a bit. Let's change this up. Fan out there. Let's put some of the cloak out there. Sort of like I don't know. I guess that works, huh? Yeah. Let's go to the layer below and start adding some color. Again, so I'm using my big wide scratch board tool for that. Do some grays. And not being neat necessarily, I just want to get an overall color. Just flats, I think they call them in comics, just big flats, flat color. Start with a gray, neutral gray. I like, you know, like I said, I'm a very line heavy line heavy. Abstract and graphical, sort of like a Mignola or what's his name? God, I can't think tonight. Well, there's a lot of like comic artists who are like flat like this. Sienkiewicz. The guy who does X-Men now, what's his name? Chris Picciolo? Something like that. Bacalo? That's it. Chris Bacalo. Horrible. I should make notes about stuff like that. Let's see here. Let's make a red. Not quite the red of her hair cape, but nice red cape. I try to use a bit more desaturated colors because I know it seems a bit, this is gonna sound funny, it seems a bit more realistic. You know, it's kind of funny term coming from for this, but it's a little too colorful. There we go. Just filling in this, make that a little bit lighter. That'll work. A little darker for underside. Yeah, I find with a heavier line you'll want more flat colors. You don't want to over render it. You know, it looks better this way. Just putting in highlights. I tend to follow more and more. I tend to follow those old like cell animation, you know, where like Japan animation would have you where you'd have a base color, you'd have one highlight color, and one shadow color for a given area. So it's like I have the highlight of the white, I have the medium of the gray, maybe a little darker shadow, maybe a little bit darker than that. Fill in over there, and that's, you know, that's usually pretty good. You can add a few more levels of whatever, but like I said, you don't want to over render. You don't want to go too far, or at least I don't in my art. You might, you know, you might disagree, and that's fine. Not everybody does everything the same, but I find this more. I tried to do all very kinds of like super high rendered stuff. It doesn't look right. It doesn't look good. So I'm just put almost black for the glove here and black for the glove here. Actually, for this we need maybe a little smaller pen. Brown colors. What's the wooden shield? Shields, I don't think, you know, many people use make their shields like super like steel or something like that. Metal. I imagine those would be very heavy, very, very heavy. Wouldn't want to wield a wholly metal shield. I think most shields are made of wood. So that's why I generally like to put wooden. Maybe they wouldn't be bare planks like that, but you know. Let's make that a little bit darker metal, more ironish rather than steelish. Okay. Just highlights. Just little. Doesn't need to be wholly. There we go. What? Top layer. Zoom in a bit. Clean up the sword a bit. Just yeah. Cleaning up a little bit. The point on there, a nice fine point. Well, over here, let's make this hilt a little more bronzes or brashes. Oops, that's not the layer I wanted to put it on. Have my colors underneath. smaller. Let's add a little brightness to this. Let's go back in here and clean it up a little bit just for clarity. A little clarity. I guess that works. Let's make that a gem colored thing. Sure it's on the right layer. Maybe a little. There we go. Just adding some highlights. Let's see here, 10. That's a cleaned up sword. Yeah, that's not working. Now there are tools in Painter to make straight lines. It's up over here. But I tend to find that those straight lines to be somewhat artificial. They don't look, it doesn't match, you know, if you don't have a horribly clean style, it doesn't match the rest of your style. Because it's, if I just started putting in straight lines like that, they won't necessarily match with what the rest of the picture is. So it's like, yeah, so that's not it. As mentioned, it makes all of your lines straight, even your erasing lines. There we go. Well, I got it. All right. Just fixing in there. Should we make it a magic sword? Let's put in like runes on the blade. Find a color to put in the back. Well, actually, I'm not. Hey, let's work on my cloak here. Let's make some shadowy colors. Let's just desaturate that a little bit. I don't know if that needs. I think that's good enough. Let's add some highlight colors to the. Ooh, that's too bright. It's too, well, not bright, but too saturated. There we go. A little variety. Let's add some shadows to the face. Let's bring this other one in there. Yeah. I don't know. That's not gonna work. This makes you look a bit sickly. I don't think that's a good, healthy. Oh, it's that color. Let's make it a little bit lighter, pinker. And again, add shadows for the. Yeah, that works. I guess let's add a little highlight here. Be a little lighter, I suppose. Make it a little lighter. It might be a bit much. I don't know. Blend it a little bit. Yeah, it works. A little bit. Let's see about adding a little highlight. Actually, that hair, I don't know if I want to touch that hair. I think I like that hair a lot. Don't want to overdo and overuse and over, you know, all of that. Let's find a color in here. Add to the background. That works. Come on. There we go. The composition's a little off center. That's what you want. Maybe even more so. I could do it more so, but I don't know. Those legs don't look nearly big enough, and the sword doesn't look nearly long enough. Flip it. You want to flip your canvas every now and then? Take a look at your composition. See what. Yeah, I guess it looks okay. I don't know. I don't think it's broken. I think this leg needs to be developed more. I think it's because I have it in shadow so much. Let's maybe bring it out some more. Like all of this, just make it bigger. Just so it looks like a bigger leg. Isn't completely lost. Zoom in a bit. It's quite a bit. Color underneath. It's amazing how you look at here, it looks like a big jumbled mess. You know, it's like lots of abstract lines and what have you going all which way. When you pull out and you make it smaller, what have you, it all tightens up. Just yeah. Let's run that out. That look better? Let's take a look. I think it's better. Slightly. Not horrible. At least I don't think it's horrible. Yeah, it's not bad. I could live with it. Let's tidy up that belt a bit. Let's pick a brown color. Put that in there. That's like the brassy color. Not necessarily gold, but brassy. We can go in there and maybe clean up it. Maybe even just redraw it. We can redraw it, go back on the top layer, and make it more deliberate. Just adding texture and pattern and that works. Little highlights. Work on the texture. Make the belt's a bit more obvious. Lots of line, lots of black, lots of texture, lots of. We need this. I don't know if we need this. We can get rid of this. Make it clean. So it's this balance. I'm working on this balance of clarity and energetic fun. You know. Texture and pattern and sketchy and I try to make my armor realistic on my female warriors, what have you. Would they have that? Would they have a brassiere kind of thing? They probably wouldn't. I mean, it's kind of silly. It'd probably just be, you know, just a curved, you know, if I go here and back to my let's see here. How would it be? Let's probably be curved like this, where it's just be let's because I would think, if anything, you know, having, you know, breast-shaped breastplate would cause like any sword to go after to be centered more towards the middle, which is what you would want to avoid in armor, right? Let's So you know, like regular armor, like regular mail armor, you'd have, you know, a center deflecting area. And then, you know, I don't know. I'm guessing here. I mean, we don't, you know, historically we don't have. I mean, I would think any historical facts we have would be, I mean, it's not like a whole lot of women fought in armor. I think those did fought in men's armor. I think. I mean, you know, Joan of Arc, what have you. It's just, yeah, it seems a bit better. I try not to be one of those guys, you know. Go through and you know, I just don't want to be, you know, the stereotypical perverted artist guy. You know, I'm a guy. I like drawing beautiful women, but I don't want to necessarily just objectify. You know, put them in ridiculous poses and. What should this be? Right now, this shoulder thing is just this amorphous kind of. Well, let's just make it like a star kind of, a sun kind of motif. Sort of like wrapping around. You know, it's wrapping around, so you only see a part of the sun. And likewise, you want to do that with the other areas. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just hint. Yeah, I guess that works. So likewise, we're probably going to want that in our pendants. Just repeat. You know, a lot of elements you want to repeat. That's the name of the game. Repeat pattern. Helps bring a unity. That's the fancy word, unity, to your work. Big, large door slam. Hello, neighbors. How you doing? Suppose I could put a big. Yeah, that's fine. Somebody's roaring to get out. Oop, I'm in the wrong layer. Yeesh. Try to keep my layer separate. Yeah, that works, I guess. Wrong layer. Wrong layer. Let's see about defining this draw line a little better. Oh yeah, actually there we go. Bit more. Better. Yeah. There we go. Stand up. Take a look. That's right, the sword was a bit... That sword looked puny. That sword looks puny. Let's add a bit more to that sword. Let's add it. Let's add enough to be... let's bring it out to here, maybe. Let's add another, you know, half a foot. See if this makes it better. And continuing with the lettering. Squiggle, squiggle lettering. That's better. That's a decent size. Some people will tell you it is the size of the sword. It makes a difference. Yeah, I think we're about done with this sketch. This drawing actually turned out pretty well. Yeah, I plan on doing most of my drawings like this on this channel. More drawings. Yeah, let's see more of this. Yeah, we're gonna save this out and post it, and post this video. Thank you for watching. Next time we'll do maybe something else. I don't know. See you then. Bye.